And I want to talk about something that I discovered today on Twitter. It's a UAP guide. This UAP guide is something that's been developed by a volunteer team of different people to raise public awareness about UAP to unlock funding for scientific research and political support for disclosure. But the purpose of this UAP guide is basically what it does is it gives people like who have no idea that there's something to this phenomenon. The ability to figure find out that there is something to it. Basically, I mean, to bring them in slowly. So and I actually went through this whole. It's basically a 15-minute course or a 15-minute introduction to UAP. And I'm gonna read a tweet. I actually reached out to one of the people that put this together. This was from Haley Morris. She's one of the team members, one of the volunteers that put this together. And actually, I should say who the team members are before I. There's three team members. It's Brad Crispin. He's the creator. He's the senior director of engineering at Udacity. Haley Morris, she's with Public Affairs, Director of Public Affairs at, and also Austin Alexander, Senior Engineering Manager for this guide. But anyway, I reached out to one of them on Twitter, actually all of them, and Haley Morris responded. I asked if they had some sort of explanation on what this thing does, or what's supposed to be, what it's supposed to do. And she responded, "We think there is a real benefit to becoming aware that UAP exists beyond the thrill of a good mystery about the universe. Even considering the possibility gives us an opportunity to look at humanity from a new perspective, like an astronaut looking back at Earth. UAP Guide is a volunteer team from the tech industry with a mission to raise public awareness about UAP to unlock funding for scientific research and political support for disclosure." So they're trying to raise public awareness and hopefully get some funding for scientific research, and that's good. I have to applaud them for that. It's nice to see that there's people out there, people in the tech industry, that they're trying to do something. And basically, if you look at this is for the people out there who just think it's all silly and they never even think about UFOs at all. But if you're somebody, I'm sure people in your families, like I know, people who watch this channel, right? Obviously, they don't need this, but it actually is nice to go through it. You could basically it gives you different. Basically, here's what it says here. It says a 15-minute introduction to unidentified aerial phenomena. That's what it is. And then it has different comments from different people involved in this. And they have three comments here to start it off. One from Christopher Mellon, another from Luis Elizondo, and another one from Ross Coulthart, UFO investigator. So anyway, I'll just read these comments and I'll tell you. Here's what Christopher Mellon said. He says, "If you are new to the subject of UAP or know someone who is, this is a concise and innovative new UAP guide that can quickly help people get up to speed." And then Luis Elizondo's comment about this new UAP guide, it says, "Finally, a tool that is simple yet effective that communicates the seriousness of this new reality involving UFO/UAP. Informative, accurate, and elegant. People should feel free to use UAP guide as a first step in their journey into this new paradigm for humanity." And then Ross Coulthart wrote, "There's a huge public demand for information on UAP, and people want this issue taken seriously. UAP Guide details the evidence and asks the questions that need to be asked." And it is pretty informative. And actually, if you are into this and you've been deep into this and you've done your studies, this is a nice refresher course. Basically, you go through this whole thing. It takes you 15 minutes. It has different videos and different information, comments from all sorts of officials about UFOs over the years. I mean, it's something for some people out there who really don't know about this, and they pretty much everyone should. I mean, this is a very important issue, despite what debunkers and whatnot will tell you. But this would get them on board. I mean, Of course, I wouldn't recommend somebody new to this, somebody who doesn't believe in UFOs, to come to my channel. I think they should do this first, get acclimated to what's been going on, what it's all about, and everything. I mean, this, if they're there to listen to my podcast or watch my YouTube channel, that's like going wait. That's, to me, that would be tantamount to a fifth grader skipping basic mathematics, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and going straight to advanced calculus. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, if you're totally unfamiliar with UFOs and you come to my podcast or my YouTube channel and you see me on here talking about this, raving about it sometimes, right? I mean, I'll pop to a person who's uninformed about this whole phenomenon. They're going to look at me like the guy in the old Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the movie from 1956, the original one. And the movie starts off, there's this doctor, he's like raving mad, screaming, "They're here already!" Right? And they take him to a hospital. He's brought into a hospital by the police, and then they bring a psychiatrist in, and he tells them the whole story, and it goes back in time. It shows how he got to where he is, But then by the end of it, they all realize, oh yeah, there's these pod people from outer space, and they're taking over our bodies, and they're replacing human beings with these alien beings, and if we don't do something about it, the whole world is doomed. So that was that's what the people who are unfamiliar with this subject would see if they came to my channel. So it's better off that they start here. This is like my channel is more like advanced calculus for UFO. People who are interested in the subject, people who are trying to learn about it. Compared to something like this. This is for the beginners, for the newbies. So I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea. And there's a lot of people out there who actually really, let me tell you something. As you know, there are a lot of people out there who really need something like this. The people I think who really need it are the people who are fighting against it. Yeah, I was on Twitter today, and I commented on one of Mick West's posts. He was basically making fun of some video. There was a video that's been circulating with a whole bunch of people holding their cell phones up to some object. It's probably a hoax. Who knows? It's not a good video. I don't know. And he goes to these kind of things and makes fun of these kind of things, because it is, I mean, it's probably, I don't know how you could prove anything with this video. It doesn't look that good. There's a whole bunch of people with their cell phones, pointing it at the sky like they're filming something that's there. And I think this was a hoax. And he wrote, video from multiple independent witnesses is the holy grail of ufology, something that would prove one and for all that something significant was going on. This is not that holy grail. Well, it's not. It's not the holy grail. I mean, this would be an easy hoax. You get a group of young people together. Hey, let's all pull a hoax. I mean, it could be. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. It's not good evidence, right? But he uses these kind of things to assuage his fans who want to keep hearing about, please tell me, Mick, please tell me this stuff's not true. Please tell me. Like every day they got to go there and be reassured that there's no such thing as extraterrestrials coming to this planet, or they're going to go crazy. So I actually responded to this, and of course I got bombarded with, some people that, because of course I'm responding to Mick West, and he has a lot of fans there, so of course there's going to be people that are going to, attack me over my beliefs. But I wrote, these visitors are obviously way smarter than we humans. Believe it or not, they're even smarter than you. Do you realize you're in essence a useful idiot to them? They take measures to keep their presence secret. They want people unaware they're here. You're helping them. And of course, I got some, people calling me an idiot. There was some guy throwing F-bombs at me. There was some guy that wrote, if their presence is secret, how do you know about it? Want to revise your statement? Like this guy's just, this person here is totally uninformed. I mean, he's just, drinking the bathwater of the debunkers like Mick West. I mean, he's totally drunk on it. So I responded to this guy. I'll read the responses. So he thinks I need to revise my statement because I said that they're being secretive. And I wrote back, I was like, that's a great question. They screw up sometimes, obviously, and we see their craft. They don't want us to know they're here. And more importantly, what they are doing. Also, among other things, I've seen one of their craft up close in 1994 with another witness. Then I wrote, when I see all this wasted effort to try and explain it all away as hoaxes, misidentifications, hallucinations, etc., I feel compelled to speak out. ET visitation scares people. And I know many of you need people like Mick to tell you it's all pretend so you're not scared. Ask yourselves a question. Why do you need constant assurances that there is nothing to the phenomenon? Subconsciously, you require it to quell the deep-seated fears you have about its potential reality. Quite frankly, I'm not happy about it either. We don't know their intent. And it just went on with some other people got involved. And I'm not going to get into all of it, but I mean, it just, they can't accept it. And, maybe this UAP guide might be a good step for them to try to get in, to figure things out. Even for Mick West, because there was a lot of people here trying to say that he's a well-schooled UFO investigator. I don't see that at all. Not at all. I mean, I just see somebody who jumps to conclusions right when something comes out. We just talked about this the other day, that Calvine UFO photo. I mean, within minutes, he was out there, military kite. And I remember a while ago, I showed him the Rex Heflin, one of the images from the Rex Heflin series of UFO pictures. There was a flying saucer that this guy took pictures of. He took 3 pictures of this flying saucer back in 1965. And they're really good pictures. They're considered, the best, among the best that have ever been taken. And it was of a flying saucer. And the first, immediately when I showed him that picture, the first thing he said was, he wrote back and saying, that's easy to do. That's somebody threw a hubcap out a window and took a picture of it quick, which is, that's the extent of his research, proclamation, instant. He had an instant answer for it. He never did any research into it. Just it's a hubcap, and it's not a hubcap. I mean, this thing, in fact, I'm going to leave a link into this Rex Heflin UFO, and it's very interesting. This thing was analyzed by a lot of different people over many years, and there's a really good analysis that was conducted. It actually looked at the original analysis of the pictures, or actually 4 pictures. The first 3 pictures showed a flying saucer in different positions near this guy's truck, work truck. This guy was a maintenance worker, and then the 4th picture, when the thing took off, it left this weird smoke ring in the sky. And it's a very interesting story, and it's too much to get into right here, but it's something, if you're interested in classic UFO photos, the Rex Heflin incident is something really interesting. And this analysis, which I will leave the link for you, is definitely worth your time to read. But again, I presented this, to this, and the first thing he says is, "Oh, that's just a hubcap thrown out a window," which is obviously not a hubcap. I mean, even I didn't even do an analysis yet. I just was, basing my opinion on this other analysis. But it would have been too difficult. You couldn't do something like that. The object was a lot. I mean, based on film experts that looked at this, the object was way bigger than a hubcap, right? It was at least 20 feet to 30 feet in diameter. Right, who the hell could throw something like that and then somehow steady their camera and take a picture of it? I mean, because these pictures were very clear, and Rex Heflin who took the pictures, you could tell that he had time to steady the camera and then take the best shot he could each time. So it's just one of those. It's just some of the best evidence we have. It's among the best evidence we have, and and again, this guy doesn't. He obviously hasn't done his research. He has not done his research on this. If he did, he wouldn't be talking this way. He wouldn't be debunking things, right out of hand, and have these, against his flock who, follow him, it's just, it's very sad. It's very sad that people need this, when, it's at some point they're going to get to the truth here, and it's going to be sad for them. It's going to be. That's why when I see, like, just recently I did the podcast the other day where my anonymous friend said that there's going to be catastrophic social collapse. That could be the case because of people like this. There's these people who have to be told on a regular basis that there's nothing to it. I think it's a subconscious thing. That's what I think it is, and they're just it's unfortunate, but yeah. I think that this UAP guide might help them. Again, that's something else. Of course, I'll leave the link for that in here, and I really think everybody should check it out because it's very interesting. I'm going to go look at some of the things in here that are included in this thing. Like if you can get start, like it's almost like they start you off with a video with Christopher Mellon talking, and then if you keep going through it page by page, it gives you, you go to the one section here that has different comments from different people like Obama, John Ratcliffe, the former National Intelligence director, Kirsten Gillibrand. Like here's something that Marco Rubio said. We have things flying over our military bases and places where we're conducting military exercise, and we don't know what it is, and it isn't ours. Okay, like comments like this. This is like to get people acclimated. So certainly, right, I would imagine that everyone has people in their family who just, think this is all nonsense. I mean, I still do, even after with the stuff I'm doing here. Maybe I should show them this, and I think I will. I'll recommend this. I think you need to get acclimated to UFOs, and maybe you should read this, and maybe take it from there. Here's something from John Brennan, the former director of the National Intelligence Agency. I think some of the phenomena we're seeing continues to be unexplained and might constitute a different form of life. Okay, you have somebody from the CIA saying that. There's a lot of comments here from people like Elizondo and Mellon, of course. Even Scott Bray, who was at that hearing, the deputy director of Navy intelligence, it says he has a comment here. It's clear that many of the observations that we have are physical objects from the sensor data. We haven't had a collision. We have had at least 11 near misses. Okay, but now again, Bray he has not admitted to any possibility of extraterrestrials. He hasn't gone there yet, not yet. But they do have some comments in here from him. But you go through these comments, and they have some comments from David Fravor, who saw the Tic Tac. It's about 40 feet long. It's white. It has no wings. It has no rotors. It has no control surfaces. Think of a white Tic Tac. The thing would go instantaneous from one way to another, similar to if you threw a ping pong ball against the wall. And we start to kind of orbit because we are going to watch this thing. It is still doing its erratic thing around this disturbance in the water. And I say, hey, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go down there. And all of a sudden it goes zip, and it kind of turns. Now it's mirroring us. It seems to know we are here. It goes from almost a hover to a pretty aggressive climb up to our altitude. So now there is a bit of fear because you have no idea what it is. It is actually reacting to what we are doing. Yeah, so there's a lot of things like that. A lot of comments from people that actually saw these things in the military, people who who served in the government and in high places, and it doesn't matter. This is all it's all bipartisan. There's all different people from different parties here talking about it. Here's Bill Nelson, the NASA administrator. He says, reading the classified UAP report as a senator, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. The pilots know they saw something. So yeah, I mean, even NASA, of course, Bill Nelson has been talking about they're starting their own study on this right now, pretty soon. And this is a good introduction for people who are interested, or people who aren't interested, rather. People who you might know, friends or family. This might be something to share with them. And I like this. I like the effort. I think it's useful.